Capital rock. Forward. Got my crank extensions in place, and as I thought might happen is I got no clearance. I've got two options. The easy option, chop off this top hole. Go on, just chop it off, all of them, and that will give me clearance. But what if I need the top hole? Well, my second option would be to run a piece of tube like this behind this one. Just weld it here and on the ends and here, and then chop this piece out. That one will just go. And same with the front piece to give me clearance. I've got this piece tacked in place. This is a heavy wall inch or 25mm box. So I'm happy to cut these out now. But I don't think it's going to work over here. The horizontal method. I don't think it's going to work over here. So once the bearing's on there, I'll just use this for an example. It's going to be up at an angle like that, roughly. Then it's going to have that tube down there bolted to the underside of it, and then the bolts and nuts will stick out. And once it comes around, I don't think it'll clear. I think it'll hit. And that's just, you know, a headache. So what I'm thinking about doing now is very carefully cutting out one of these and this, and then replace it with a piece going full length down to here, and weld to the inside here. And the way I'm going to come back from moving is move this axle through the bearings into here, and that should hopefully hold it straight. I'm hoping that might even be long enough to go into here as well, so it'll be supported there and here, and it will remain centered. I got it working. It goes around, it goes in and out, just like it's meant to. The issue is, this thing's not touching the tail. The wheels are in the air, right? Look at that. I can get it up a little bit, but not enough. This is not enough. That's too much. There's not enough clearance. I had a thought, but that probably won't work either. I don't want to make it too complicated. I could have like a cam here, or, no, just don't, okay? Basically, I'm gonna have to go up a hole to that one, the middle hole, see how it looks. I'll be able to lessen the severity of this bend. I can make this shorter, which will lift the whole thing up. Could potentially flip the bearing. I can get clearance on the next hole, but not the bottom hole. Hopefully that's enough of an extension on the second hole to reduce the amount of force needed to propel this thing. So I'll get it swapped around and have a go. I got this thing somewhat working. It goes backwards easier than it goes forwards. Steering works good. There's also no key in this wheel, so the crank will slip, the axle will slip inside the wheel. It's hard to start forwards. And I didn't do any research before I started making this pedal car, and I wish I had it, because the traditional style is the best style. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So the way I had it before with the pedals, that's not traditional at all, on the slightest, and that would have had my steering all wherever it wanted to be, really, not in the center. The traditional style pedal assembly is adjustable, so you move the little pedals wherever you need them, which is pretty simple, and it looks like you get leverage with your feet rather than leverage with the crank. So I might be able to shorten it, because at the moment these linkages are that far off the ground, about 3/4 of an inch or about 20 mil. Now that I've got this way overkill structure, I can put the old pivots that were down here, up here, like that. I'm going to try and get them as close to these as possible, just for extra room. I'm going to figure out everything. These bits will get modified again. Can't see what I'm pointing. You can see it on that camera over there. I've got 2 cameras now. Hopefully it'll make for better filming. I come up with that. It does hit just here, barely. So it pivots here. Right. This is very temporary. It does work. My issue is of how close it is to the ground. Because these wheels aren't on the ground. They're up in the air. And that thing is probably about that far off the ground when the wheels are on the ground. And if you go over a bump, it's going to scrape and all sorts of stuff. So I've had another idea. Another crazy concept. I want to try that. And I might be able to do away with these extensions. We'll find out. What on earth have I been doing? Science. So at the moment, when this travels from here over to here, that's 5 inches duration. Anyway, that's 5 inches from there to there. Right? Yeah, we're looking at this second weld here. That moves from there back to there 11 inches. So that's just over 2 to 1 reduction, which is the equivalent of that full height. From there, opposite, is also 11 inches. My concept works. And these arms here are much like a traditional pedal car. But I'm still going to have my skid plates on there. I have to figure out exactly how far up they can go before they hit this. I have to make all the joints. I'm going to make them like that. Either with the nylon or just a pin through steel rather than just a bolt through steel. Hollow. But it works. And I have pedaled it. The only issue is there's no key in here and this shaft is slightly too long. So when I put this in, I should have moved the whole lot over like that far maybe a little bit further. That's alright, this will be slightly narrower in the rear, but I'm still going to have clearance from the body. So I'm going to cut that off there and cut a new keyway in it with my milling machine that finally works. It's a 6mm cutter, 6mm key, hopefully. Hopefully it's deep enough. It looks deep enough. I'd like to hear from my viewers. These joints here, they're not ideal on any of them. There's 6 in total, back here, and then there's 2 more up there. So 8 joints, all with bolts, steel and steel. What kind of joint should I make? So I've got 2 options in my head. A steel sleeve that welds inside the pipes. It'll be split there with some washers. So the bolt will be riding inside a steel sleeve. Or I could even do away with the bolt and use pins. Or should I use nylon like this inside a steel sleeve? Or should I just be lazy and just chuck washers between everything and a bit of grease? Working. Let's go backwards. Working. Let's go backwards. I made a thing and it works. Hey, come here. What can you see? A little drop. Broke some tack welds. Just broke these tack welds, that's all. It's supposed to be tack welded to there. Just like that. Other than that, it was going pretty good. It wasn't horrible to drive. Need some momentum for this hill. Go, oh, yes. Go, 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 go. There we go. It's got some issues. Needs a handbrake. Needs a door. Needs a handbrake. Needs a lot of refinement, that's what it needs. Here is the issue. So when it gets to here, this tread stops moving. And it's hard to overcome that. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to offset these cranks by about 10 degrees. And hopefully that's enough to overcome that. Oh, got about, what's that, 8 to 10 degrees on that. So this one's vertical, that one's leaning forwards. But it works through one stroke, not both. So there's still, both pedals are inactive there. When you come back here, it's not enough. Right, I've flipped one of the arms. That one's on top now. And it's sort of made a difference. I think the only way to really test it is to hop on this thing and see if it's any easier to pedal. So I've done away with these pivot arms. I put the extensions back on. And this thing works beautifully. Absolutely beautifully. It's easy to pedal. I can make it up that little tiny hill now. With ease. I've got one issue, which is the steering. There's not enough angle on it. Turn the wheel, it's not enough. I need it to go more. But, you know, that's a minor detail. Now I've got to remake some stuff. Like this piece here is going to be splitting it. So I'm going to chop it off here, replace the end of it. This axle's still only tacked, everything's still only tacked, so I've got to re-weld everything. I've got to tighten everything up as well, because there's that little bit of play. Just got to tighten stuff up. I'm very happy with the fact that it actually works now, and I've come up with a name for this. It's an elliptical car, because these move around in an elliptical fashion. A lot more work, but it actually works now. So I'm going to get cracking on welding stuff, reinforcing the rear axle. I started out with these wheels and then got these wheels. I was pretty happy with those. Now look at that. I knew that'd fit. They look so much better with the big tire on for some reason. Looks more like a drag wheel. And vice versa, they fit on here. So these will be making an appearance sometime in the future on a different build. It's going to be stretched a little bit, which would be cool. So let's take this off of here, that off of there, put that